So today we will start another lecture which is on the food toxicology in the food processing industry. So whenever we are going to process the food, whatever we have discussed till now is about the how these food toxin are going to be produced whenever they are going to be processed. For example, we have talked about the potato chips, or sometimes it is also in the tomato chips also. So what happens? There are certain compounds which are going to be formed whenever we are going to process them. So these are going to be formed. These are going to be formed when they are getting certain surrounding or certain ambient which is favorable for them. For example, high temperature. Whenever the high temperature is there, what will happen? The heterocycle amines will form, and these heterocycle amines will be formed when another factor is our Maillard reaction is going to be happen. So when the Maillard reaction is going to be happen and high temperature is also there, what will happen? They will form the derivative toxicants which are known as your heterocycle amines, or in a small form they are known as HAS. So these heterocycles amines are toxicant, and these are formed during the processing of the food item. So whenever they are going to form the heterocycle amine, we have to take care either the temperature can be optimized or the Maillard can be optimized. So how can we control the Maillard reaction with respect to the temperature? That is against a big challenge for the people who are working in this field, particularly the industries which are working in this field. Second, most of them demonstrated the potent mutagenicity and as a human carcinogenicity. So it can be a problem for the change in the genes. What are the genetic compounds? Genetic compounds are made up of the DNA, particularly which is your dideoxynucleic acid, and DNA is going to have a unique kind of double standards amino acids which has ATGC kind of sequence, and mutagenicity means this sequence is going to be changed or amended, and which is not desirable. So whenever the reactions are going to be happen with respect to the genes, it is known as your mutagenicity. And mutagenicity can be occurred due to the several reasons. And these several reasons have one of the reason of your toxicant compound. At the birth level also, it is found that mutagenicity occur. And due to this mutagenicity, you will find the child brain is larger. Maybe the two child are connected. So this is the problem which can be occurred at the birth level also. But here we are discussing mutagenicity with respect to the harmful compounds or the Maillard reactions compound. Heterocycle amines are going to form, and these heterocycle compounds are going to cause the problem with the carcinogenic compounds, and these carcinogenic compounds are particularly responsible for the cancer in the human. So cancer in the human can be caused from the food or particularly processed food which contains the heterocycle amines. These heterocycle amine will cause a further problem and lead to cause the cancer. But carcinogenic compounds cause a problem not in the acute term, it will a long-term disease, which is your carcinogenic compound. So maybe if you will eat a carcinogenic compound, you will find that you would be having a symptoms of that maybe after 5 years or maybe after 10 years, because it's a chronic disease. It is not a acute disease, it's a chronic disease, and chronic disease are generally happen beyond the 3 years. Beyond the 3 years, maybe it will 4 year, 5 year, 10 year, or maybe 15 year. So it will depend on your body metabolism and catabolism. So we cannot say these carcinogenic can be a problem for the shorter term. So we have to take care the particular terms of mutagenicity and carcinogen whenever we are discussing about the heterocycle amines. The next point is about IQ, which is your intelligence quotient, has been a demonstrated carcinogenic activity in the monkey. Now, the capability of formation during the ordinary cooking practice implies frequent exposure by the general public. Now, this point is like whenever we are doing the ordinary cooking practice, it will have a frequent exposure. Means the problem can be frequent one or the exposure could be frequent one by the general public. But it cannot be say in a general phase that we are doing ordinary cooking and it will going to be formed. The chances are least. But whenever we are dealing in the bulk, the chances are more. Particularly dealing in the farm, company or in the production area. Now, what are heterocycle amines? Heterocycle amines means if a cyclic compound like benzene, furan, these contain a amine group. Here NH2, as you can see in this particular diagram, the NH2 is attached. But there are also other compounds like methyl, R3, R2, R1, N. So these are not your homocyclic compound. These are known as your heterocyclic compound because of the attachment of the other groups. So let's see one by one. This is the particular toxin which is given here. MElQ, MElQX, 4,8 dimethyl QX. So you can find out these are the Z compounds which can be formed. Like carbon can be in IQ. So in the place of Z, if you will keep carbon, then you can say it will become IQ compound. On R1, if H1 group is there, on R2, which is this position nearby the double bond, and R3 also H. So if we will replace R1, R2 and R3 with the H, from the H compound, hydrogen, and Z compound with the C, it will form the IQ. It will form an abbreviation which is known as your IQ, one of the toxicant. Now looking for the methyl Q, methyl IQ. In the methyl IQ, what is going to be happen on the R1 position, you will have to attach the methyl group. Clear? R1, R2 and R3 would be H, Z would be C. In the methyl QX, you will have to same replacement except one which is your R1. R1 is here, you can see. This is the R1 position, you can find it in the PPT. Now coming to the next, which is your methyl QX. Now methyl QX, what you have to do, you have to replace the 2 position with respect to IQ. So here on the Z place, you have to attach the nitrogen, and on the R3 position, you have to attach the methyl. So similarly, these are the compounds which you have to remember, you have to focus, because all these compounds are going to be formed very important reactions and major part of your heterocycle amines. Now, what is the mechanism? What is the mechanism through which these heterocycle compounds or the amine compounds are going to be formed? So let's try to understand from the mechanism of reaction. So as you can see in the diagram, there is a mechanism of the reaction which shows glucose amino acid is going to react with the pyrimidine radical reaction. So this is a ring in which nitrogen is present, and here what is going to be happen, the glucose amino acid is going to be upset. So amino acid means the amine NHCH2 group is there, and acid is C double bond OH, carboxylic acid. So on the both side you find the carboxylic acid with the amine, which is your glucose amino acid. Now whenever it is going to react with the terminal carbon, because carbon has 4 valency and the fourth one is clear. So now you can see how the further reactions are going to be formed. So let's try to understand. This is the diagram of the IQ. This is the diagram of methyl IQ, then methyl IQX, then 4,8 dimethyl IQX. So let's try to understand what are the different reagents which are going to be formed these particular reactions. First, try to understand about the IQ. So as we have discussed, in the IQ, on the place of the jet, carbon is there, and all R1, R2 and R3 having the H compound. So you can find R1, R2 and R3 have H compound, and on the Z, this compound is there, carbon. Okay. So coming to the next methyl IQ, here it is ignited by the creatinine, and creatinine formed during the Maillard reaction. So Maillard reaction becomes as a catalyst or produce a catalyst which is your creatinine. Actually creatinine is a product. Whenever we are going to discuss about the reaction of the Maillard, we should understand the creatine is going to be formed during the formation of your Maillard reaction. And this creation is further helping to accelerate this reaction to form the methyl IQ. Similarly, here you can find methyl aldehyde. These all compounds like methyl aldehyde, pyrazine radical, creatinine, these all compounds like aldehyde, all these compounds formed during the Maillard reaction, and these compounds are very much helpful in the formation of your particular compound which is known as the heterocycles amine. Now this is very important, how the mechanism of the 4,8 dimethyl IQX. So what is 4,8 dimethyl IQX? So on the position of 4 and 8, you will find dimethyl. So let's try to understand. 1, 2, 3 and 4. So this is the third position and this is the fourth position. So you can find 4,8 is going to be formed the methyl compound, and how it is going to be formed, it can ignite with the Maillard reaction, and Strecker degradation is one of the important steps in the Maillard reaction. So Strecker degradation will start from the Maillard reaction and it will further react with the creatinine. So creatinine is one of the product which is formed from the Maillard, and you can see the structure of the creatinine here. So creatinine consists of amine and one furan cycle and methyl compound. So this will react further to form this compound which does not consist of your methyl at 8 position. Now further this methyl carboxylic methyl aldehyde is going to be further react in the Strecker degradation with the lipid oxidation, and this is further going to be formed with the oxidation and react the reaction at the methyl bond, and finally it forms the methyl at the 8th position. So this is the very important mechanism, and you should try to understand this mechanism. Now this is like formation of phenyl IP. So phenyl is your group in which one benzene ring is there and OH group is there. So a powerful carcinogenic in the processed food. So these processed food includes your bakery items, confectionery items, particularly your cake and pastry. So you will find this carcinogenic compound in these food items. So let's try to understand how this phenyl IP is going to be formed, and let's try to understand its mechanism. So this is phenylalanine and this is your phenylaldehyde. So aldehyde, phenyl is this group and aldehyde is CHO. So C, as you can see, this H is this or double bond is O. So let's try to understand how these are going to be react. So you know carboxylic group is there and NH2 group is there. NH2 has higher electron, so it is in the dipole movement. When the dipole moment is going to be high, it will cause a positive at the star place, and these oxygen will deliver electron to here, and this will further join, and this will form the breakdown of the ring and formation of the new cyclic compound. This nucleic cyclic compound is further going to react with the R group, and it will form the phenyl IP. This is the final step. Now this is one of the pathway for the EG-CG inhibitory activities. So this is not very much important, but I have mentioned here for your understanding. So just you can look out the structure and try to understand these compounds. How these compounds are going to be formed from one of the mechanism which is known as your dipole moment. So only the dipole moment is helping to ignite the reaction, whether it is creatinine, whether it is your aldehyde, whether it is your phenylaldehyde. So all these are going to be ignited with the help of the product which are formed during the Maillard reaction. Now this slide is very important to understand what are the factors which are going to be affected for the formation of the heterocycle amino acids. So let's try to understand what are the different factors. First factor is your temperature. Now let's try to understand how the temperature is going to be affected. So first we will discuss about any bakery item. Let's say there is any biscuit. So how biscuit is generally formed, or let's say rusk is there, how rusk is going to be formed. For the formation of the rusk, we required certain material or ingredient like hydrogenated vegetable oil, flour we required, ascorbic acid, amino ABC we required, yeast we required, sugar we required in the pulverizated form, and we required a mixture. Whenever we are going to mix and form the dough, then we have to keep in the fermentation type of a step. In that step, whatever we are going to do, we are going to actually increase the size of the dough. How can we increase the size of the dough initially? Whatever the yeast we have added, the yeast will get the water and the yeast will get the carbohydrate. So what will happen? The yeast can have a ignition time, or they will have a lag time in which they will start growing. So the temperature is important. At which temperature we will get the right volume of a particular cake. What is the right temperature? We will get the proper color, because the color is completely dependent on the caramelization of the sugar which we have added. As you know, the caramelization process generally started from the 80 degrees Celsius, and this caramelization process will go up to further 180 degrees Celsius. So from 80 degrees Celsius to 180 degrees Celsius, there are many compounds which are going to be formed in between, and these compounds are very important with respect to the formation of the color, with respect to formation of your dough size and other parameters. But now we are going to limit our discussion on the color. So color is dependent particularly on the amylase reaction, and this will occur at the 110 degrees Celsius. But in the bakery items, we have to take the temperature of the oven up to 310 degrees Celsius. So we have to control the temperature in such a way that we will get the desirable color of our product or the item. Now second point is time. How the time is going to be formed? Time is going to affect the formation of the heterocycle amines. See, in the bakery item, the time temperature combination is very crucial, because if you increase the temperature, then you have to reduce the time. If you increase the time, you cannot reduce the temperature, because temperature is dependent on temperature. The food is dependent for the other parameter, but time is an independent axis. Time is not dependent on anything. So what we have to understand? We have to understand that whatever the item we are going to add, it should be having a standard time depending on the kind of the product we are adding, depending on the kind of the product we are baking. So we have to understand the time of the temperature combination with respect to the desirable requirement of the product. Now next is our precursors. Precursors means those things which are going to ignite our reactions, those things which are going to help to start a reaction. So one of your compound is your creatinine and second is your phenylalanine. These are nothing but they are reducing sugars and amino acids. So in the previous reactions we have gone through, like creatinine is one of the compound, like phenylaldehyde is also one of the compound. So these are the reactions through which we have already gone, and if we are able to inhibit these precursors in between, then it will give an age and it would be very helpful to control the overall reaction plus this formation of the toxic compound like your heterocycle amines. Now next parameter is involvement of the lipids. How these involvement of the lipid or the fat is going to affect the formation of the heterocycle compounds. So as you know, lipids are very much vulnerable or prone for the oxidation, particularly the lipid oxidation or the radical reaction. So in between, if a lipid is there and it will oxidize, it will form the radical compound. And these radical compounds will further enhance the formation of your heterocycle amines. Now understand next point, which is your direct involvement of the Straker's aldehyde. So Straker's aldehyde formed during the Maillard reactions only. So if we will control the Maillard reaction up to the step which is before the Straker, then it will give an age to restrict the Straker's involvement in the further formation of the compound or further formation of the different compounds. Now this can be done with the help of the certain enzymes also and time and temperature combination. Coming to the next point, which is your water content. So water content is very important for the three things. It is important because it can be act as a leavening agent. It will help to increase the rise or the volume of a particular dough. Second, it will help to hydrate the dough. And third, it will give as a nutrient to the yeast. Now, if water content has been controlled with respect to these three things, then there is another parameter which is your formation of the toxic compound. So if the water is in the excess, then there are chances that it will lead to formation of your HA compounds. Now certain other parameters are also there. For example, concentration of the polyunsaturated fat. So polyunsaturated fat, which is known as PUFA, that should be minimized in any food. So it can be come into our food with the hydrogenated vegetable oil. So we have to look at the amount of the HVA, and we should also look, it should not go beyond the certain limit. Now antioxidant is also important, like BHA. Now we will understand next compound, which is acrylamide. So acrylamide, so it consists of amide group, which is NH2, and acryl group. This is your acryl, where double bond is there and C double bond is there. So now let's try to understand what is acrylamide and where it is going to be formed. Acrylamide nowadays is very important in the research field because as you can see the chips, potato chips like Lay's, there are so many cases found and mentioned in the newspaper that these are going to be formed in the potato chips, and it has lead to the carcinogenicity to the human beings. And nowadays there are so many research are going on the different varieties of the potato, different time temperature of the frying. So like PUSA new variety hai, PUSA one of the institute, they have introduced a new variety of the potato where they are claiming that this variety does not lead to the formation of the acrylamide. So there are so many inputs from the agriculture side, processing institute, research institute to reduce the formation of the acrylamide, because this is going to be cause the carcinogenicity in the human body and it will further lead to the other problems. So let's try to understand what acrylamide toxicology. So I have given one case study also that we will also discuss. But before that we will discuss like it is proven as a neurotoxin compound in animals and as well as in the humans. So it is found that it is act as a neurotoxin, means it will affect the neurology or neurons of our mind. So it will attack directly to the neurons of our body, our mind, and it is not affecting not only the animals but also the human beings. So it is proven as a problem to both animals as well as human. Now effect of the range, what are the effect is there? So these are the small effect in the acute disease like your confusion, abnormal sensation, your muscle weakness, your body is not able to properly coordinate between your mind and your physical hand, sometimes your legs. So it is going to be cause a problem with respect to the acute and chronic diseases. Next is it will cause a problem to the genotoxic compound. So genotoxic compounds are those compounds which has potential to affect the germinal cell and it will lead to hereditary change. So let's try to understand, as we have also discussed, like so many researchers are studying how these genotoxic compounds are going to change the hereditary DNA compounds. Next is it was proven as carcinogenic compound in the rats, and studies was conducted in China where 8,000 people have taken and they were found positive neurotoxicology field and relationship with the cancer to the human. Now, how do we know? This is very important. How do we know whether the somebody has exposed to acrylamide? So, if you like taken the particular chips, and might be a possibility that you affected. But how do you know? Is there any test to know whether you are affected from the acrylamide so that it would be diagnosed at the early stage and the treatment can be done accordingly? So this is one of the hemoglobin test which is known as acrylamide bind to hemoglobin. This is one of the test biomarkers and it was can be conducted and reflect the exposure of the acrylamide over last 4 months. So in the last 4 months, if you have been exposed, then you can be detected by this company biomarkers, which is your AAHB or hemoglobin acrylamide binding test. Now let's try to understand the history. What was the history of this before 99? So let's try to understand. It was clear-cut dose response associations and were found between the HP adduct level and the peripheral nervous function system. 39% of those who have hemoglobin adduct level exceeding the 1 normal mole of per gram of the globulin experienced the tingling and numbness in their hand or feet. So it was the study which were founded that if it is going to be exceed with the 1 normality of per gram of the globulin, they will form the certain problems in their hand and the feet. And another one is for 23 workers there was strong evidence. This is one of the cases study where they have taken the host of the 23 workers and it was found as an impairment with the acrylamide. This is another case study which is done in 2002. So this is a Swedish National Food Administration which has developed a new rapid method for the analysis of the acrylamide. So they have developed a new method to know whether the acrylamide affected people is there in the food or not, or can be detected the food or analyze the acrylamide directly from the food, whether it is formed into that or not. Now, analysis shows that acrylamide is present in large number of the food, including your staple foods, and the level of the acrylamide differ widely within each food and analyzed. So this is the mechanism that we will study in our next class, that how the formation of the acrylamide from the aspergine through the early Maillard reaction. Okay, so this is basically a step which is conducted in the formation of the Maillard reaction. As you know, in the Maillard reaction, generally the aldehyde or the sugars are going to be react and they will form the skip base. And further, this skip base is going to be form the azomethane yield, and it will lead finally to the formation of the acrylamide compound. And this is very important to understand the whole cycle of it. So, thank you so much.